And good evening and welcome everybody to beautiful Lockleys Oval, where we've got a Division 1 matchup between the mighty Saints of Sturt, who are 16-3 currently at sitting in second position at the table, against the hosting West Torrens Eagles, who are currently 9 wins, 6 losses and 2 draws. I'm joined by West Torrens President Jamie Thomas. Due to technical issues, we've already had the first innings. We had 3 up, 3 down for Sturt, 3 up, 3 down for West Torrens, so it's 0-0. We're currently at the top of the second, where the DH Geordie McArdle is leading off the second innings, and Will Cordicus from West Torrens is pitching. And that ball's foul with his lead-off pitch. Jamie, welcome down to the club. Another great opportunity for us to have a look at these magnificent conditions down here. What's been happening at West Torrens, mate?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, it's great to be here and looking forward to a good contest tonight. We've got a bit going on down here with storage sheds and hitting tunnels getting put in that we've been waiting a long time for. Yeah,
it's been about 5 or 6 years, from my recollection, of course.
It has. It was part of the original design to get hitting tunnels, and you know, we've been in here. This is our 3rd season here now, and finally they're looking likely to go in towards the end of this season, so we're really looking forward to that.
Be exciting for the club, because I know it's been a tough gig for us to try and maintain, or for West Torrens to try and maintain their junior program, given the lack of facilities. But certainly what is sitting here at the moment is just terrific, and we look forward to only get better once these things go in. McArdle's sitting on 2-2 at the moment, and Neil Polton's the umpire at the plate, and Sean Bourne is down at first base. McArdle rolls one over to Sam McGarry, the second baseman, and a straightforward 4-3 to Ryan Broome, first baseman. First out in the second dig. Of course, just having a look at doing a bit of preparation before the game, I've been nothing but impressed by the numbers that the Sturt juggernaut has posted. As a club, they're batting around about 300. The leading hitter, Dayton Mitchell, around about 457. Right now, of course, is the reigning caps medalist, Jackson Brebner-Russ. And of course, Jackson is the epitome of a two-way player. He's batting 450, and he's got an ERA over 74 innings of less than 1. So an extraordinary talent in this league. Just on the outer edge, 1-1. Will Cordicus is fresh off a magnificent performance last weekend against Goodwood in the doubleheader, where he pitched basically a complete game shutout. So he's in good nick as well. But of course, this is a daunting lineup that the Eagles face tonight.
That wasn't impressive. I wasn't here, Mark, but I was watching it on Game Changer, and if the statistics say anything of how he was actually pitching, that was an absolute blinder last week.
Yes, he's certainly on, young Will, and really working into the season, working up to the sort of length that you hope to get through from your starters. That's Jacob Scott at third. Gets it over to Ryan Broome for a 5-3 out. Picks it up. It's 2 down. Top of the second innings. So yes, he's been in great form, and of course the West Torrens lineup's been pretty settled now for a few weeks. They started off as the shortstop Nico Vanderlinden had a late start to the season due to his business and work commitments, but now that he's back in the side, he's keeping his brother out, and of course Nathan of course is a multiple medal winner in the grand final, again being another two-way specialist who can pitch and bat for the Eagles. This is Dayton Mitchell. Dayton is actually leading the batting averages for West Torrens, and I think he's second in the league behind only Giovanni Garbella from the Henley and Grange Rams. He's certainly a big unit, young DJ. Of course, I've known him since he was in nappies, and now have a look at the size of him. Big unit. Hits the ball hard. Two and two on Mitchell. Some tight results over the weekend for the Eagles. They managed to squeeze out Kensington in a 3-2 result. Sturt, on the other hand, had no problems at all with Goodwood, who've run into a bit of a set of quicksand at the minute. They're struggling to get wins on the board, and they beat them 9-0 on the weekend. 3 and 2 on Dayton Mitchell. Back. Of course, an exciting weekend of baseball coming up with the Adelaide Giants going into their playoff match against the Auckland Tuatara. A number of the players from both of these clubs are represented at the Adelaide Giants, and Mitchell swings through for a K2, and that'll do it for the second innings, and Cordicus retires the first 6 batters without cost, and we go into the break for the innings. So Jamie, you want to mention some of the major sponsors down here at West Torrens, and we thank them for the support, the incredible support they've given us this year. But do you want to detail some of them, please?
Absolutely. We've got 2 major sponsors in F93 who do all our catering here, but of course he's got his own cafe at Keswick, which is going really well. So if there's anyone going around the Keswick area, drop in to see Fran and have a coffee and something to eat. He'll look after you.
Croydon Road, Keswick.
And of course Bell Property, our other major sponsor here, David Ferrari. If you're looking to sell or get an appraisal or a rental, he's always happy to help out. Let him know you're part of the baseball community, and he'll give you maybe a discount. I don't know how much. He'll probably look at me in a minute, but he's been a massive supporter of us, and of course he's got a young son playing in the under-15s who's coming up through as well, so he's heavily invested in the club, which we love to see.
Don't forget a wife and a daughter who are playing in the women's league, so
I better not.
Very much a family affair.
Yeah, he's got his whole family involved. Yeah. He's the only one not playing, so...
might have to do something about that, JT.
Well, unfortunately they don't hold auctions on Sundays, so he's having a few problems getting out, but he loves it. He absolutely loves the club. He's always around, and we're happy to have him on board as a major sponsor for sure.
Here. All right, leading off the second innings for West Torrens is the centre fielder Jasper Clark. Clark, Hambley's DHing, and Nico Vanderlyn in the shortstop. The batters due up, number 4, 5 and 6. Josh Tyndall for Sturt. Got 3 up and 3 down in the first innings. Just inside. Clark's been on a bit of a run recently after a bit of a slow start, and he'll be happy. He's pushing his numbers up. Certainly he's in the double figures now with hits after a slow start. But that probably would summarise a lot of the team at the moment, and but that's the nature of the game. And we've got a ball and 2 strikes on Jasper Clark. and fouls that onto his foot. Of course, Clark was one of the stars in the winning premiership team, played right field last year, and again, along with young Maxi, the team really turned it on, and the kids came to play come the finals, and Jasper was one of them. That's a K2 as he swings through that. 4 up, 4 down, Josh Tyndall. Coming to the plate now is the designated hitter, Tyron Hambley. He's the coach of the team, coach of baseball club, and of course a veteran, many years now, having spent more than a decade in the United States, and he's come back and has led the club since his return. Just on the edge from Tyndall. Deflected by Brebner Russ, and safe at first. Have to wait on the scorers for that one, but I'm going to guess that since Brebner Russ dove and knocked it towards Altamura, it's probably going to go down as a hit to 6. So good start for Hambley, the first hit of the game for West Torrens, and the first runner on base for either team. Next up is the shortstop for West Torrens, Nico van der Linden. And he's got some air under that one. It's going out towards...
Oh,
and
that's a
fair ball too.
Yeah.
So the ball was just gloved, unfortunately, by Dylan Redding out at right field. And... that made contact just in the field of play, I think, as we look at the replay there.
He might have been in, but it would have been close.
Well, there it is there, and the ball definitely bounced on the line, so it must have been in, and called so by Neil Polton. And then, unfortunately, the deflection knocked the ball out of play, which puts Hambley now at third base and van der Linden at second with just the one out. Jude Barker, the right fielder, comes to bat for West Torrens. So Barker, of course, is a young man playing in his first season in Division 1. He came to us as a junior from across town and has really started to make a name for himself. Tall, athletic, hits the ball really well. And took a while to find his feet, but once he got his first couple of hits, he's gone deep, certainly at least once, and made a couple of clutch hits for the team as well. So Jude Barker, new to Division 1, right fielder for West Torrens. And that's just on the outside edge. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a ground ball to Jackson Brebner Russ at third base, and makes an excellent throw to Dayton Mitchell. And Barker is retired and the runners stay in their positions. So we're now 2 down, and the next batter is the left fielder, Reese Lounder. Lounder swings through the first pitch. And through the second one. 0-2 now on Reese Lounder. Tight pitching from Tyndall. Got to work with music now to try and wangle this one out. And he's given the benefit of the doubt there by Sean Bourne. 1 and 2. And a ground ball to Brebner Russ at third. Double clutches, but still gets the throw across. And Lowndes put out 5-3. The runners are stranded, and West Torrens just do not score. So we head to the top of the third, tied up at 0-0. And Josh Tyndall got out of a jam there, pitched beautifully to pick up Barker and Lounder on ground outs to Jackson Brebner Russ at third base. Jamie, any comments about the match so far?
Well, despite the Eagles having a couple of runners in scoring position, there's really been no hard contact yet. It looks like a real pitcher's duel. I think Tyndall's throwing the ball really well. Mitchell then picked a great ball from Brebner Russ under a bit of pressure with runners coming home. That's a great play, and to keep you cool and take that pick, it wasn't an easy pick. So I think at this stage it looks like a real pitcher's duel, and you might have to manufacture some runs here. It's
going to be a team, I think, that, as you say, can find a way to get the runners, first of all, get them on, then get them around to score, and that's something obviously West Torrens didn't do then. But again, you can't score if you haven't got the runners in place, and I guess that's going to be the task. The other thing, of course, you're looking for is who makes the least mistakes. And I noticed the scoreboard's been pretty hard on Dylan Redding. They've called that an error. So I guess that's probably going to be, I would have given that probably another hit, but made a lot of ground. But I guess, of course, when you get quality outfielders like Redding, you probably just become to expect that they'll catch them. So
I think he probably would have expected to catch it, but
Absolutely.
It was a tough catch.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
It wasn't easy out there. The ball was clearly fading towards the line. With this wind coming in from right field, that died pretty quickly. So for anyone else, that's a tough catch, but he was probably disappointed he dropped it.
Absolutely. Right, we've got the shortstop, Zach Altamura, and is the leading off the top of the third innings. Now, he's made good contact with that.
There's another catch, pretty much the same as what we just saw from Redding. Yep.
Barker was lucky enough to get under that and take the catch safely and pouch it at right field for a first pitch fly out to 9. I was just about to say that Zach had just come back from the under-16 Nationals. You were there to witness it, Jamie.
I was, and what an impressive young man he is. He was in a class of his own, and I'm not just talking in the South Australian team. He was in a class of his own throughout the whole tournament for the
MVP,
under-16. Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't have even had to take a vote. He's a really good kid. He can hit, he can field. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him over the next few years playing some A grade.
Sturt must rate him because he's knocked their regular shortstop Mitch Lightbody out of the position, and that's no mean feat.
No, well, that just shows how impressive that he is, and probably how high they regard him down there at Sturt. And yeah, they're very lucky to have him.
Well, they've always had a very strong focus on bringing up their local product, their own players. There's a pop-up from Tyler Chappell. Jacob Scott's under it and pockets it, and it's the second out for West Torrens and for Sturt. Bring out the number 9 hitter, Sonny Beaumont, as Will Cordicus continues to work very efficiently. Just on the inside corner, and called strike by Neil Poulton. As I was saying before, both Sturt and West Torrens historically have had very powerful junior programs, and I think they're reaping the benefit of them in these last 5 years or so, as these players that they've produced have pushed their way through into Division 1. Of course, they've waned a little bit in recent years. Certainly, West Torrens have got their reasons for that to have happened, but the teams that are really honing in on the juniors at the moment and reaping the benefits at clubs like Adelaide and Henley. I know Golden Grove have got a very extensive junior program, and I know that Goodwood are really now putting in the hard yards with their juniors, and they're getting some through as well. So I mean, junior baseball is the thing that underpins local baseball, and that looks like it's going to be a safe hit for Sonny Beaumont as it heads down to Jude Barker at right field. He picks it up, and first hit of the game to Sturt, a single to Sonny Beaumont down to Jude Barker at the right field line. 2 out, runner at first, and that goes back to the top of the lineup now with Harrison Naki. So Jamie, when you get a chance, where's West Torrens sitting with their junior development program at the moment?
Look, our junior numbers, as you mentioned, sort of suffered a little while ago, but we have recovered. Our numbers are really good. We've got some good kids coming through. You know, every club's, I suppose, challenge is to hang on to those kids and get them to senior baseball, which is what we've really put a lot of emphasis on of recent time, and we're starting to see some benefits from that with our Div 3 team becoming very young. And we're hoping to get even younger and younger as the kids come through.
There's a lot of 15, 16-year-olds playing in that level, isn't there?
There is indeed. Yeah, and that's what is going to sustain success at the club. You know, you see other clubs doing it. I know Henley a few years ago, I looked at their Div 3 and they were very young, and now look at what the Div 1 team's doing. It's the way to keep sustained success, and that's what we're looking for.
And of course, Sturt have subscribed to that view for as long as I've been in the game, which is nearly 20 years now.
Well, I've been in the game maybe just a touch longer, and I can't remember a season that they haven't been competitive at A-grade level. So, you know, they're doing something right there, and, you know, they've got good kids coming through, so I can't see anything changing.
Whilst that was happening, Sonny Beaumont stole second. Ball very nearly made it from catcher Tom McGarry to his brother. But ball wasn't held, and Beaumont made his ground, safe at second. Foul tip from Harry Nucky. And we're 2-2 in the count. Corticus needing an out here to get out of the jam. First hitter has made it to second base, so he's in scoring position now. Nucky's attempt, of course, will be trying to get it through the infield to the right and pick up the run. But he doesn't go to the right. That'll score him easily. A beautiful hit from Nucky. And he's going to get a stand-up double to second. And the first RBI of the game goes to Harry Nucky as Sonny Beaumont comes in and Sturt take a 1-0 lead here in the top of the third, I beg your pardon, at Lockleys Oval. Back-to-back hits, single to 9 and a double out to 7 by Harrison Nucky and Sonny Beaumont. Now we go to Dylan Ridding, another hot hitter.
And there's another one.
It's just great team batting. Clark at centre field picks the ball up. It's cut off by Broom coming across from first base. We now got runners at the corners. That's a single to 7 by Dylan Ridding. That moves Harrison Nucky up to third base now. And Corticus is in a bit of a jam here. 3 good hits in a row from Sturt. Again, no one should be surprised when you have a look at their record and their hitting prowess. They're a very powerful team, but discipline at the plate, making sure you put the ball in the play, that's all part and parcel of why they're sitting at the top of the ladder, really only having struggled to beat the top side Henley at the moment. And those games have been close, of course. So we now have Martin Music, the Sturt import, the catcher, Czech national catcher. And that's a called strike for his first pitch. Music lined out to the pitcher in the first. Nucky and Ridding at first and third for Sturt. 2 out. Just a bit high. 1-1. Called strike from Neil Poulton. Music wasn't, or didn't agree with the call. The count stands at 1 and 2. The runners still remain in position. Nucky at third and Ridding at first. It's a foul ball. Ridding took off, but the ball was fouled off by Music. Ridding returns to first. Count remains 1 and 2. So Jamie, when you get an opportunity, you want to have a mention of the other fantastic sponsors of the West Torrens Baseball Club. I know you've spoken about F93 and Bell Property. They're the major sponsors.
Well, just watch this at bat. This is a very impressive at bat thus far.
Hits that one very hard indeed. Unfortunately, foul for Sturt. Tight contest here at the moment for Cordicus.
This is
Started
a big
off
out.
immaculately. It is a big out. But, currently, Sturt have just scored the 1. They'll be looking to try and add to that through this at bat. Cues it at the end of the bat. One and 2. 2 out, runners at first and third. Top of the third innings. Sturt leading 1-0. Ridding's gone. Fortunately for Music, he swings through it, and the 2 runners, Nucky and Ridding, are stranded, but they do pick up the 1 run, which was Sonny Beaumont, who led off with a. Actually, he was he got a single down to right field. He was the third batter after Altamura, and Chappell had been knocked over, and then Sturt came up with 3 consecutive hits to pick up the run, and now lead 1-0 at the end of the third, or in the middle of the third innings. Jamie.
Okay, so this year we did make a big emphasis, and Dave Ferrari from Bell, with a lot of contacts that he's got, really pushed hard with our sponsorship this year. So we've, if anyone's been down to West Torrens, they can have a look at our home run fence and notice that we've got a hell of a lot more than what we used to. We've actually covered the entire fence this year. So the Lockleys Hotel is still a major sponsor of ours. They do all our supplying of our alcohol and whatnot, and they've been a very long-term sponsor of ours, so we thank them very much. JSR Plumbing, if you don't know John O'Rex, you probably haven't been in baseball very long. He has been a stalwart of our club for such a long time, and a sponsor of not only our club but also of the Super League, and a really good supporter of baseball in general. We got Stoke Fireplaces. Adam and Zoe Rowe have come on board this year with their 2 boys playing juniors, so we thank them so much. Who else we got down there? Actus, which is another one of our long-term players. Chris Henry's involved with Actus, so we thank him. And then we've got a number of our sort of what we call our sort of minor sponsors, but they're always
all valuable.
All valuable, and we value them all the same. in Mortgage Choice. So if you go down and see Keith down at Mortgage Choice, he'll help you out. You've got Frank Reed Conveyancing. Go if you need any conveyancing. You'll probably realise that a lot of these are to do with housing and finance. We've got Vo Financial, Malcolm Simpson down there. If you ever got any financial needs and you want to have a look at your finances and look forward to retirement, get down there. NC Renovations. Brett Kane at NC Renovations, they specialise in bathrooms and laundries. If you've got any wet areas that need a little bit of an upgrade, head down and have a chat to him. He'll sort you out. Adelaide Design Inc., which is Ben Zuchin's architectural firm. If you want to build something, it'd want to be pretty big because I think he does a lot of commercial stuff. So thanks very much to Ben and the Adelaide Design Inc. Full Hammer, who have done our uniforms. You probably notice our uniforms this year have changed. We've gone to the pinstripes at home for our Division 1, 2 and 3, and our away uniform tops have also changed. So Full Hammer are doing our uniforms and are also come on board as a sponsor of the club. B Switchcraft is another one that's come on board, another one of the Henry boys that works there, and he does all the your home electronics, your smart home stuff, and Nova Vita Wines, which is another family, the Cosned family. They own the Nova Vita Wines. Great drop. I've had plenty of bottles of that and never had a bad one. So if you're looking for a nice wine, Nova Vita in Adelaide Hills is the place to go.
All right, we're back here at the bottom of the third inning, which was led off by Ryan Broom, who was swung through the third strike, so he's out. Currently, Tom McGarry just laces one down to the left field line and looks like he's going to get a stand-up double as with a one-out hit down to left field for Tom McGarry.
Just before we keep going, I've just got one more, Exceed Solar. Corey will help you out. I've used Exceed Solar. I've got the panels on my roof. A number of the other West Torrens boys have done it. Great company, local company, and if you want to reduce your electricity bills, get onto Exceed Solar and they'll help you out.
Thanks to all of those sponsors, and thanks for that, Jamie. McGarry, of course, has been relieved with the speed-up rule in the Tuesday night games. Shane Allen's gone out as the courtesy runner, and Jacob Scott has come and swings through the first pitch of his at-bat in the third inning. Josh Tyndall on the mound for Sturt, pitching very nicely. Martin Music, the Czech national catcher, is Sturt's import for this year, and again, a very impressive young man. Wonderful bat, and doing a great job behind the plate for the Sturt Baseball Club. Counts 2-1 on Jacob Scott. Shane Allen, running for Tom McGarry, is still at second base. Just got the edge. 2-2. And a ground ball to shortstop is thrown into the dirt, and Mitchell can't handle it, and Scott makes it safely, and on the throw Shane Allen moves up to third.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't quite get that in the hand, Zach, like he would have wanted to, although he did double clutch, didn't quite get enough on that throw. Good effort from Dayton to try and pick that one, but
it was awkward, wasn't it?
It was a tough one, another tough one for him at first base.
Who'd be a first baseman? Still, they get paid the big bucks, don't they, to stand there and third base. Sam McGarry comes up now, the second baseman for West Torrens. Runners at the corners, one out. And first pitch is a called strike on the outside edge. McGarry fouls that off, jammed him there on the ball, got in on his hands. 0-2. And Scott goes and steals a base on a ball. One and two on McGarry now. Runners at second and third, one out. As Torrens really do need to try and capitalise on these situations. It's probably where they've lacked a little bit this season compared to last year, and certainly why the powerhouse clubs are sitting where they are, because they're capitalising on these moments. And McGarry puts the ball up in the air. That's going to be hard, and it lands foul, sadly, for him. And the Eagles, runners return, and we sit still on a 1-2 count.
Infield was playing in on that occasion.
They were.
If they were out, they probably would have caught that one, but yeah, they were fielding in, so that one fell safely.
Tyndall trying to work on the inside to McGarry, hoping to cramp up. McGarry pounds that one through the left-hand side. Runners coming home and makes it. It's 2 RBIs to McGarry with a single to 7. He's gone to second base on the throw. But both McGarry and, Shane Allen, who was running for Tom McGarry, scored, and Jacob Scott also scored to give the first 2 runs of the game to West Torrens at the bottom of the third.
That was a good throw coming home. I actually thought he was going to get him, but the catcher just not able to handle this ball. He looked a little bit surprised at the catcher that the ball didn't get cut.
But Scott took advantage of that and made his ground safely. Sam McGarry's now at second base, and Jasper Clark is at the plate and takes a called strike for his first pitch. Clark lines that and doubles McGarry off.
Well, the bat certainly seemed to have come alive now. It looked like it was going to be a one-run ball game come in the first couple of innings, but the
both teams have come alive in the bottom of the third innings.
Yeah, there's some hard hit balls now, so it could be who can play the better defence now.
Yes, well, clearly the both pitchers are working the ball nicely. Corticus certainly didn't pitch poorly. Sturt hit very well in the top of the third innings with 3 consecutive hits. A couple of nice ones there to the McGarry brothers. Tom to the left field foul pole, and then Sam McGarry along the field through the gap between shortstop and third base for a single, and picked up the 2 runs, and that's the score at the moment. After 3, West Torrens 2, Sturt 1.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, Mo. I reckon the pitchers are actually pitching really well, but the batters have now adjusted, and they're not trying to overhit the ball. They're just putting the ball in play, and that's why we're seeing the runs flow now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go from here.
Well, we reached the midway point of the game, of course, being a Tuesday night. It's a 7 innings affair, and right now it's tough to imagine it getting much closer. Again, you sort of come to expect the sort of titanic tussles we get between the top sides in the comp, and certainly West Torrens being the reigning premier, even though they've sort of bobbled a couple of results so far this term. Sturt, of course, have just gone on their merry way, and other than the Henley Rams, they've just swept all before them. Coming to the plate now is the designated hitter, Jordan McArdle of the Adelaide Giants. And of course, a incredibly talented hitter As we saw last weekend, he's had about 5 or 6 games in a row where he's hit home runs, he's hit key RBIs for the Giants, and of course an integral part for the Sturt Baseball Club.
Whoa.
And he's hit a big ball there. It's going to left, and Lowndes covering the ground, but it's off the fence for a double. In comes the ball now for a stand-up double, lead-off double to Jordan McArdle out to left field. Got plenty of that.
He's certainly seeing the ball well of late, isn't he?
It's nothing streaky about Geordie. He just goes on. He's a power unit. Always has been. He's been a big person since he was a kid, and he's just got better as he's got older. Up now, the current Caps medalist, Jackson Brebner-Russ. Jacko grounded out to third base in the first innings. And that's a strike. 1-1. At home tonight is Neil Poulton. Out at first base is Sean Bourne. Grounds it to third. Scott has a look. That makes the throw across to Ryan Broom, who completes the tag out. And Brebner-Russ is retired. McArdle stays at second. 1 out. All right, Dayton Mitchell for Sturt. Struck out in the first innings, but time's been called as the skipper, Ty Hambley, wants to come and have a word with Will Corticus. Gary goes out to join him.
Dayton's had some big at-bats against West Torrens this year. He was the one that hit the ball to the fence to win the game early in the season.
He did, and I think he popped one over the last Tuesday night affair up at Sturt.
He did indeed. So, he did. That was not quite as close a game, but still he was in the thick of things. So they're going to need to be a bit careful here, or they're going to find themselves with a 2-2 ball game.
Of course, he's hit 4 home runs for the season, amongst the 21 that he's already had at this point of the year, and for a 457 average is pretty impressive for a kid his age. Will Corticus. It's on the inside edge. It's a ball inside. We've got a 1-1 count on DJ Mitchell. Big hack. Hits it foul though, and 1-2 on Dayton Mitchell. 1 out. Top of the fourth. Jordan McArdle lead-off double, still standing at second base. And he has a look at that one and is rung up by Neil Poulton just on the inside edge for the second out.
That was a very gutsy pitch on the inside edge there.
Well, given the fact that he swung hard at the last couple.
Yep.
But beautifully located as the national MVP for the under-16 carnival, Zach Altamura, Sturt's new superstar shortstop, comes to the plate. Corticus living nicely on that edge right at the moment, and Polton's more than happy to give it to him. Called strike 2. So I'm gathering, Jamie, from what you say, the Altamura was the complete package in Sydney.
Oh, he couldn't miss. Even I think he got out 4 times in the entire tournament. He struck out once, so I'll give him that, but everything else, even the other times he... oh, there goes a bit of music.
And there's a ground ball from Altamura. McGarry picks it up, makes the play 4-3, and that's the end of the innings for Sturt. McArdle is left stranded at second base, so there's no run. Remains at 1-0.
Yeah, even like I was saying, the other three times he got out were hard hit balls, and he just looked like he brought his own baseball to the ground, and it just put him on a tee and just whack away. But
well, it's lovely when you get into that sort of form, isn't it?
I was absolutely shocked that they kept pitching to him.
Really?
I'll be honest. There's a guy that, and he wasn't getting cheap hits. I think his first 4 or 5 hits were doubles or triples.
Wow.
He was hitting the ball real hard, and just did not look like he was missing. Even when he was getting behind in the count, he'd still hit the ball hard. It was such an impressive thing to watch. It was unbelievable.
Well, as we've already commented, you know, Sturt must see a lot in him already, because he's moved into the key position at shortstop, and that has been held down by Mitch Lightbody, who once again was an outstanding player for South Australia as a junior. Represented Australia when they won the Little League National Carnival. In fact, South Australia won it twice in a row, back to back, way back. Not sure how, I can't remember how long ago now, but Jordan McArdle was certainly in both of them, and so was Mitch Lightbody. And so for Zach Altamura to turn up now as a 15-year-old and knocking out a 25-year-old is something special. And good luck to him, and well done to Sturt for finding somebody as talented as that. Next inning, the bottom of the 4th, is being led off by the West Torrens skipper in Tyrone Hambley. He singled to shortstop in the last inning. As I recall, he hit the ball fairly hard and was deflected by Jackson Brebner-Russ at third and picked up by Zach Altamura, and Hambley made his ground. Again, sitting on that edge, which Polton has been consistently giving to the pitcher. Hard hit ball, but foul from Hambley. He squeezes it in. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. I was just going to say that Tyndall settled into his work nicely. Finding a nice consistent edge there, and a bit of late movement on the ball. Just outside. 3 and 2. And Van der Linden taps it straight back to the pitcher, and he's retired. 1-3. First out for West Torrens in the bottom of the 4th innings. Nico van der Linden, shortstop for West Torrens, singled to 9 in the first innings. At least I think that was. I think the scorers might have given it an error. Just outside. It was an inning, unfortunately, we're not able to capitalise on any runs, but Hambley and Van der Linden got themselves on with 1 out, but they were left stranded. Van der Linden swings hard again for 0-2. I beg your pardon, 1-1. called on the outside edge again. 1 and 2. Pitches up. 2 and 2. And Van der Linden grounds the ball to Jackson Bredmaruss at third. He gloves the ball nicely, gets up and with that fantastic arm of his makes the play and retires Van der Linden 5-3 for 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th for West Torrens. Next at bat is the right fielder Jude Barker. Swings hard at the first pitch for a foul, back to the right-hand side. One and one. Just outside. Of course, at this time of night, Jamie, the shadows start to play games. They've been in the shadow, they're out of the shadow now. But Tyndall, the pitcher's got to deal with looking into the sun there. It's not easy.
I was just thinking the same thing, Mark, when Jackson Bredmaruss made that play. Those that have been down to West Torrens know that third base is an absolute nightmare on a twilight, and he made that look easy.
Great player. And Barker pops it up. Chappell's getting under it. And muffs the fly. So Jude Barker reaches on a dropped fly ball by Tyler Chappell. With 2 out in the bottom of the 4th. Bringing Reese Lounder, the left fielder, up to bat.
It's actually quite windy out here tonight, so anything popped up to the right side is not easy, and we just saw why. When A-graders drop those catches, it's not because they're no good, it's because something, it's not easy out there tonight. The ball's blowing back away from them.
Of course, on the screen it looks its usual magnificent self, but everybody who's been on the balcony here at Lockley's knows that once the wind starts to blow, it becomes quite tricky. The ball swirls. And yes, it makes it a tough out for the fielder to get under it and complete the catches. Never mind. That's history now. Barker's at first on a drop fly. Lounder's now 0 and 2. And he foul tips it for a K2, and once again, runner is left on for West Torrens. The score remains West Torrens 2, Sturt 1 after 4 completed innings of a 7-inning game here at Lockley's Oval on a Tuesday night. Any thoughts at this point, Jamie?
I think the pitchers are still pitching really well.
Haven't made any mistakes, have they?
Tyndall has, probably that innings he was missing a little bit more than what he had in the first 3 innings when he was pitching off the plate. He was missing by more, which gave the hitters a bit of an easier decision. But that last pitch to Lounder was absolutely perfect. A slider away, started outside edge and just took off from him, and that's a great pitch.
Committed the batter to swing, and just a little bit of movement at the finish, and tips it into the glove of music, and she's all over. So we've had 4 complete innings. Both teams have had runners on. We've had 3 hits. Actually, Sturt have had 4. And they've also had 3 errors tonight, so that probably accounts for the extra run, but still there's nothing in this game, and with the lineup that they've got, they're certainly capable getting the runners on and getting the hits to bring them in. So West Torrens have to continue to pitch well and field well, and of course it's up to them then to try and add to their run tally, which of course Sturt are going to be working hard to try and stop. Tyler Chappell, the shortstop, is leading off the top of the 5th inning. We've still got Will Cortiscus on the mound. And he swings through the first pitch. And as I was mentioning now, just as we speak, the shadows are lengthening around the batter. So the pitch is coming out of the sun into the shadows. Makes it just that bit more challenging for the hitter. 1-1.
You don't often see Sturt make 3 errors, but West Torrens just haven't been able to capitalise on those. I don't think they actually scored the 2 runs with those errors.
I think they were legitimate hits.
Yeah.
One and two, that foul.
Mind you, in saying that, those 3 errors were not basic plays. They were all tough plays.
And Chappell swings through the pitch on the inside from Will Corticus, and is the first out recorded in the 5th inning. Bringing Sonny Beaumont, the only scorer for Sturt to this point in time, who singled to right in his only at-bat at the top of the 3rd. Sonny Beaumont. Just inside for that one. 1-0. 2-0. And another hit to right field. Barker's getting under it and completes the catch for the 2nd out. Lead-off batter is Harrison Nucky. Ball's inside. Two and 0.
That's 1-1. I think the first one was a strike.
He called it
mate.
a strike.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thanks, Jamie. 1-1. And nice piece of the ball. Barker's going back, but that's hit the ball on the full, and it'll be a stand-up double to Nucky. If they'd been aware, they might have got him.
I think he might have injured himself, Mark. He's grabbed his hamstring. That does not look good. He didn't slide, but I think he didn't slide because he'd pulled his hamstring running to 2nd.
Right. Yes, he's certainly looking concerned about it. Jamie Nucky at first base.
They're pulling him out there.
I think he'll come straight out of the game.
I was looking at him and I was thinking he's not going to slide, and then as soon as he grabbed his hamstring, you know why, because that, whilst it was a stand-up double, it wasn't all that. It was pretty close when he went to tag him.
So just for your information, Jamie, the scorers did give that a hit to West Torrens early. It wasn't counted as an error, so the scoreboard's wrong.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
4 hits and 2 errors.
Yeah, I would suggest that. That was the one to Jackson Brebner Russ, was it?
I reckon, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been pretty rough.
Oh, no, I think the one that Dylan Reading out of
Oh,
right
okay.
field.
Yep.
I have a feeling that was the one that the
Okay.
scoreboard called an error, but has been given as a hit, not unreasonably. Dylan Reading comes to the plate now. 1 for 2, single to 7 in his last at-bat. And a ball on the inside. Two balls on Dylan Reading. And that's a ground ball. Sam McGarry fiddles it and errors. And allows Reading safely onto first base, putting runners now at first and third with 2 out. And that looks like it's going to be it for Will Corticus as the skipper comes out to thank him for the work he's done and have a look at who's going to replace him. Now replacing Harrison Nucky, at least on the base paths, is number 26, Jack Dawson at the moment. So Dawson is at third. Reading is at first. Again, 2 damaging hitters in the lineup for Sturt. They've got themselves on. A double from Nucky that led to the hamstring. We go now to the next pitcher for West Torrens after Will Corticus completed his stint. Nathan van der Linden, number 7, comes in as the pitcher. Corticus has gone 4 2/3 of an inning. And through 79 pitches, gave up 5 hits, just the 1 earned run for 6 strikeouts. So Will Corticus, job done for the night, and is being replaced by Nathan van der Linden. Van der Linden comes with runners at the corner and 2 outs. And we're in the top of the 5th inning. Van der Linden, of course, is a multiple medal winner for West Torrens as a premiership champion. Way back in 2016-17 against Port Adelaide, he won the player of the final, and again last year against Goodwood in the premiership wins. Of course, he does it all. Nathan has done since he was a 15, 16-year-old, broke into Division 1, and he's struggled a bit with the bat this year, to be honest, but is still a uniquely talented individual. And so at the moment, he's just concentrating on his pitching. And right now, he's got the tough task of throwing to the Czech national catcher, Sturt import, Martin Music. Music, of course, is having a distinguished season. He's hitting .385 at this point. And he puts a lot of air into that ball. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be 6 points through the goalposts of the Lockleys Footy Club, the Lockleys Oval, for a very long strike.
That was very, very long. That went a long, long way.
And a foul ball. 0-2. Reading was on his way to second. We'll now have to go back.
He tested out his ankle guard there. Fouled one straight onto his leg.
I've not done it, not having played the game, Jamie, but all I can imagine is that it must be very painful.
It hurts. It does hurt.
Change up from Van der Linden into the dirt. 1-2. Just outside, 2 and 2. Another ground ball to the left-hand side. Goes foul. Count stays at 2 and 2.
Well, you can't pitch around him here. You've got Geordie McArdle on deck.
Indeed. And then Jackson Brebner Russ after that.
Doesn't get any easier.
They're a formidable lineup at the moment. Reading's off. And ball 3 just outside. 3 and 2. And a little chink hit. Screamer of a catch by Nico van der Linden. Strands the pair of runs. It was a little bit of a golf shot, a little bit of a chip by Music. And didn't quite have enough legs to get over van der Linden at shortstop there, who had to leap high to get it. Single gloved it.
That was a great play at shortstop. I actually thought it had legs. I thought that was getting over the top.
I thought it was in two for a couple of runs there, but not to be. And the error doesn't cost West Torrens any runs. And it remains West Torrens 2, Sturt 1 after 4.5 innings of baseball between the second placed Sturt Saints and the 6th placed West Torrens Eagles. They'll be led off the bottom of the 5th by the first baseman, Ryan Broom. At the moment, Tyndall's sitting on 63 pitches. So he's been very efficient. He's given up 4 hits, only the 2 earned runs. Sorry, 2 runs, but neither of them were earned, and has struck out 4 so far.
He's been very impressive today. Well, I haven't seen him pitch from this angle before, but he's very impressive. Doesn't miss by much when he misses, and there's nothing that comes down that goes straight.
No,
so,
it's all got a little tail on it somewhere, or either in or out, or up or down, and certainly can be easily underestimated. And he's got more on it than I think. It's a heavy ball that they're facing. All right. Warm-up throwing complete. We've got Josh Tyndall throwing to Ryan Broom, leading off the bottom of the 5th for West Torrens, who are leading 2 runs to 1 after 4.5 innings. Broom swings at the first pitch. It's a ground ball to Altamura. Altamura makes the throw to Dayton Mitchell for a 6-3. 1 pitch out. Nico van der Linden, who stands and throws for a put out 6-3. And not this time for Jacko. Two down now for Sturt. Top of the 6th inning, and it's Dayton Mitchell, the leading hitter for Sturt Baseball Club, with an average of 457, 21 hits, 4 home runs. Very impressive OPS of 1.92, 1.29, I beg your pardon. Still enormous numbers for a kiddie's age. Fouls that to the right-hand side, 0-1. Foul to the left-hand side this time, 0-2. Certainly not going to be, he's not going to die wondering, I think, young DJ.
No, not indeed.
And he swings through it. And it's a 1, 2, 3 innings for West Torrens, certainly what they were looking for at this stage of the game. So after 5.5 innings, West Torrens are leading Sturt by the narrowest of margins, 2 runs to 1. And we now go to the bottom of the 6th. And we'll be led off by Sam McGarry, with Jacob Scott having ground into a double, flown out into a double play when Shane Allen, running as a courtesy runner for Tom McGarry, took off early. Scott flew the ball out to right field, and Allen was unable to make it back to first base in time to complete the double play for Sturt. So no runs were scored at the bottom of the 5th. We now move into the bottom of the 6th inning. We've still got Josh Tyndall, who's pitched a magnificent game, to be fair, and he's only up to 69 pitches as we speak as he heads into the 6th inning. And he'll lead off. The first batter he will face will be Sam McGarry, second baseman for West Torrens.
Still no earned runs for...
No earned runs for West Torrens.
So that's how impressive he's been.
Yep.
It's been really good to watch, to be honest. He looks like he's in complete control of every pitch.
Well, and of course, when you're the number 2 behind someone called Brebner Russ, it's easy to be... the mystery man, but Tyndall, make no doubt at all, is an accomplished Division 1 pitcher, and one of the reasons the battery at Sturt is so impressive. Gary fouls the first ball into his foot. One, ball up and out. And McGarry becomes the most hit batter in the league, joining somebody from Woodville. I looked it up earlier on today to see who was the most hit batter in the league, and I think it's somebody at Woodville. But I think it was the 9th time this season he's been hit. But he makes it to first, and that's none out for West Torrens. And Jasper Clark, centre fielder, comes up to take up the cudgels. McGarry's now at first, none out.
I can't believe there's actually someone that's getting hit more than Sam. He gets hit so much.
I was actually surprised myself, but it was only by 1. So I think he's just drawn level with him, unless the other fella got hit tonight. It's a strike on Clark first. Pops that one up, and it's going to go foul behind for 0-2 to Jasper Clark.
I think Tyrone Hamley's going to want to put a run on the board here.
It's very tight.
Yeah, bottom 6. 3 outs to go. This Sturt team's too powerful to rest on a 2-1 lead.
And they've shown that every time West Torrens have gone in with a 1-run lead into the last innings. They've coughed it up. So, and Clark fouls it back again. So, yes, they're certainly going to need the run, or they're going to need to pitch and field exceptionally well in the last innings. And 2. And a pop-up from Jasper Clark. He's going to Tyler Chappell, who makes an interesting basket catch for the first out. McGarry stays at first. Once again, you could see Chappell struggling with finding the ball and then tracking it in the swirling breeze. So in some ways it's almost a strategic hit, although I'm sure the batter could not claim ownership of that fact. And sitting on the outside edge again is a strike on the first pitch to Tyrone Hamley.
But it does go to show how hard it is to field the pop-up here tonight. It is, that breeze is
it's really
very
swirling.
strong. Yeah.
0-1 to Hamley. He swings hard at the ball. It's going to go to 7, who takes the catch for the second out. McGarry remains at first. 2 out now with Nico van der Linden, shortstop for West Torrens, coming up to the plate. Just outside, 1-0. As mentioned, van der Linden is only his 10th game for the season. He did miss about the first month of the game because of his business. And West Torrens are pretty happy that he's back. That's right on the edge where Tyndall sat all night. Done a great job. 1-1. That's a called strike. 1-2.
Well, Nico also had a bit of an injury at the start of the year as well, Mark.
Did,
so
yeah.
not only was his work keeping him away, but when he was able to get here, he wasn't able to put the work in. So he was well underdone coming into the season, but just starting to warm up now. So hopefully, you know, come towards the end of the season, he can really heat up and we can
swings through that one for a 3rd strike.
See some of the form we had last year.
Well, of course, he's a dual premiership player for West Torrens. Played centre field last year in the Premiers, for the Premiers. McGarry's left out there stranded as we finish 6 innings with the scoreline reading. West Torrens 2, Sturt 1. As we come into the last inning now with Nathan van der Linden on the mound, and he's going to be pitching to National Under-16 MVP Zach Altamura, Tyler Chappell and Sonny Beaumont. So at the moment, West Torrens need 3 outs to try and slam the door on Sturt. But as Jamie's already alluded to, Sturt are not a team that is going to readily lie down and go away meekly. But of course, the pressure is now on West Torrens to try and keep the ball in play, and Sturt to get it in play and get on base and move them around. So it's Nathan van der Linden to close for West Torrens, and the lead-off batter will be the shortstop for Sturt, young Zach Altamura.
Yeah, I've talked Zach up a bit tonight, and quite rightly so. But we also we had 4 representatives at that state carnival too that all did very well. With Toby Cordicus, Balin Thomas, James McFarlane, and Aidan Mitchell, who all had a great experience and came back with a bit more confidence than what they went away with.
And I think each of the players did a pretty good job from my view from back here, looking at the game changer results. Getting the hits at some times and making the plays that they needed to do at times. That's outside. First pitch was a called strike, so we're 1-1 on Zach Altamura. Little tail to that one, just blew off the plate for 2-1. Van der Linden paints the edge for 2-2. And it's a ground ball to van der Linden. And van der Linden makes the play 6-3 for the first out of the 7th inning.
Yeah, our boys played really well, Mark, over in the carnival. James McFarlane was, I think, hitting a 4 or 5 hole, and he batted very impressively. Got a lot of walks, but you know, when you're hitting behind someone like Zach Altamura, you kind of get put in the shadows. But he was very impressive over there. And we had Balin that did very well in the infield. Aidan unfortunately got a bit of an injury, but he hit very well and caught a couple of games. And of course Toby, who's an up-and-coming utility, but finding himself on the mound mostly, and did very well. So yeah, we're really excited about those boys going forward.
And it's always great for a club to have youngsters coming through. 0-2 on Chappell. And he's found that position beautifully And all night, Polton has called that.
That's a great pitch. You know, you're not going to get too many hitters hitting that pitch. That's a fantastic pitch.
So West Torrens move within 1 out.
1 out.
But,
an important win for West Torrens tonight, well, if they can finish it off. Yeah.
And Beaumont looks at the first one, which it's a ball outside. He's 1 for 2 tonight with a single and a fly to 9. Swings through that one, 1-1. Oh, and unfortunately for Van der Linden, puts him on with a hit by pitch ball.
Well, he hit two then. He hit the hitter and the catcher. Tom looks like he's a little bit sore down there at the moment.
Not the first time on a Tuesday night he's taken a blow. He took one from Koki Yonezawa at the Henley game, which was a pretty vicious blow. Not from Yonezawa. He was swinging hard to hit the ball. It just glanced straight back onto his forearm and caused him to leave the game at the time. Luckily, there was no break, just a bit of contusion. And it looks like Macbeth is coming in to pinch hit for Sturt. Matthew Macbeth, who was, as a junior, was a catcher at Sturt. In recent years has been playing as an infielder, and he has had his own issues with injuries, particularly with his shoulder. I think he did the rotator cuff, I think it was during the football season. And a ball is taken as the first pitch for Macbeth. At the moment, Sonny Beaumont, courtesy of a hit by pitch, is at first base. Sturt at 2 out. And Macbeth swings through that one. 1-1. Attempted pick off. Beaumont stays where he is. Still 1-1. That's foul to the left-hand side. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Matthew Macbeth, pinch hitting for Harrison Nucky, who was injured in his last at-bat. And the game is finished on the base paths with Tom McGarry throwing Sonny Beaumont out in a 2-4 caught stealing. And that's unbelievably the first win the West Torrens have had in the last 5 or 6 meetings against Sturt. They didn't beat them at all in their premiership year, and didn't have to face them in the finals. And in the previous year, I think they might not have won there either, maybe won. So it's certainly been a while for since West Torrens have won it. Very, very tight game, lived up to all of the pre-game billing. Wonderful pitches duel, and West Torrens Eagles come out on top with a final score of 2-1. The hits for Sturt, there were 5 of them, and they all went 2. We had Harrison Nucky had 2 hits, Dylan Ridding had 1, Geordie McArdle had 1, and Sonny Beaumont had 1. West Torrens had 3 hitters, 1 to Tom McGarry, 1 to Sam McGarry, Tyrone Hambley 1, and Nico van der Linden was the 4th hitter. RBIs, well, there was the only single RBI to Harrison Nucky, who was the injured party, and there was no runs batted in. Of course, there was as a result of an error. There were no walks by West Torrens and no walks by Sturt. So the only runner that made it on a free base was, actually there were 2. There were 2 hit batters. Sam McGarry was hit, and Sonny Beaumont was hit. Harrison Nucky and Jordan McArdle both hit doubles. Tom McGarry hit a double, and Nico van der Linden hit a double. The pitching line Josh Tyndall went 6 complete innings through 82 pitches only, gave up 4 hits and the 2 runs, but none of them earned, and struck out 5. One of the vagaries of baseball, Jamie, he'll pick up the loss on that one, ridiculously.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough loss. He was impressive today, but that's baseball, unfortunately. I've seen no hitters actually lose games. So, he was very impressive, but when you put the ball in play and a night like tonight, things happen.
Anything can happen. And of course, the West Torrens line, Will Cordicus went 4 innings and 2 batters through 79 pitches, gave up 5 hits for the 1 earned run, struck out 6. He should take the win, with Nathan van der Linden coming in for the save, throwing 2 1/3 innings, 34 pitches, gave up no hits and no earned runs, and struck out the 2 batters. So that puts it in a very interesting position. It's a win the West Torrens Eagles desperately needed. They've got Henley on the weekend, and given that the number of wins are going to be crucial come the final round, it's something that they really needed to do. Do you want to sum it up, Jamie?
No, well, I thought that was a really good game to watch. It was really, you felt like it could have gone either way at any time. So, really happy, obviously, with the result. A win that we really needed, and now we go into Henley and Grange. We need to back that up. We can't just have a good game tonight and then get blown away on the weekend. They need to back that up now, but they should go in with confidence. So, really looking forward to the weekend.
Well, that's it, folks. Down here at Lockley's on a Tuesday night fixture between the Sturt Saints and the West Torrens Eagles. Final result, West Torrens 2, Sturt 1. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.